What do you say, Jackie? Not much. I'll handle it. Welcome to Stand-Up Memories, and I'm Peter Bales.
You know what? I got to tell you, I get in a lot of trouble with my girlfriend and other people because of my hearing. And I argue with them that my hearing's fine because I go to get my hearing checked and the guy plays a tone and I point. He plays tone and I point. It never dawned on me that there's times I sit there and say, why is he waiting so long to play a tone? Because I just wasn't hearing them. So you just started the show. Obviously somebody said action.
I heard action.
I did not hear action.
Did you say action?
No. You want to hear a quick impression of my house? Don't you hear the dishwasher beeping? And the answer is no. You know,
Jackie, you're
Barbara hears this beep, beep, and I'm sitting there in pig heaven, you know.
You're correct, actually. Nobody said action. But Nicole, you've said action now, right?
Yeah, good. Action.
All right. So listen, let me explain.
So you started the show without
I
hearing
did.
action.
I
told
did.
the whole story about not hearing action.
It wasn't that good a story.
They were rolling. They were rolling.
It wasn't that good a story.
It was a great
It
story.
was too long. Now listen, this is stand-up.
Too long.
This is Stand-Up Memories. I'm your co-host, Peter Bales. You are Jackie Martling, and we have a guest held over, first time ever, manager extraordinaire, the manager of managers in the comedy business who knows the insides and the outsides, Rory Rosegarten of the Conversation Company Limited. Thank you for staying for another show.
Isn't that a nice held over?
Held over.
Like sold out.
Held
It's
over.
It's nice.
It's
nice.
such a nice.
I've never been held over. I've been asked to leave early, but held over is a new concept for me.
Get out.
Get out.
No.
So now, Rory,
Don't put yourself down so much. You're an excellent comedian. You're a great guy. You're a terrific professor and a terrific comedy professor.
All true.
All true.
All right. I thank you both. That's very nice. I'm not comfortable taking compliments. So please.
You know Mike Reynolds,
Of course.
the juggler. It was so funny. We waited in line in 1977, sitting on the cement, waiting in line to catch a rising star.
Yeah.
It was the only time I ever saw him. We got drunk together, and like 4 years later, I go into the Rainy Night House, and he's juggling. And it was at that point I realized you never get out of this.
Yeah.
Once you're in,
Once you're in,
you're in. But that's something that he used to say, and it was always so funny. He'd be on stage with like a full house, and he'd do something, and he'd get a smattering of laughter, and he'd go, "Thank you both." It made me laugh every time. Thank you.
Now
both.
we've got to let Rory. I'm going to set Rory off, but I do quickly want to mention he was a friend of mine. He was a great guy. He was one of your clients. His name was Alan Combs, and we were doing a Balazzo's gig, an old one-nighter in Jersey. Tough. He was hosting, toughest crowd you've ever seen. Not a laugh. He introduces me, and I walk up to the microphone, and as we're passing, he whispers to me, "It's gigs like this that make the tough ones worthwhile." And I laughed.
Now
He
I'm
was
gonna
so
ask
funny
you,
and so wonderful.
We've talked about this before. Did that happen to you, or did I tell you that story?
That happened to me.
Okay.
That happened to me, and you probably heard it from me.
You want to steal it again?
No, you know what? Probably, I bet you.
I told it to you, and you told it back to me.
No.
You told it to him. He told it to
We
an
played
audience.
so many rotten gigs that that might have been a standard thing. Because I remember the gig. It was a gig at New York Tech, had shows at lunchtime. So they were sitting
The
at
hell gig.
lunchtime tables with the forks and the knives and the trays.
Eating a ham sandwich while you're doing stand-up.
Yeah.
You might remember Alan Combs from Fox News with Sean Hannity, and a lot of people don't know he was a comedian of some note.
And a good one.
And a good one.
And
a good
very
one.
nice guy.
And a
Great.
very,
He was
very nice guy.
He and I were truly like brothers. He was older than me, but I was like his older brother.
Wow.
And we were unbelievably close. We spoke every day. and we went through a lot of stuff together, personal and other.
Yes.
The sweetest, nicest. In fact, he passed away rather tragically from cancer, and he was at Fox, and he was a liberal. And the reason he was the liberal at Fox is so they could say fair and balanced. And whatever.
Right.
But, you know, obviously Fox is right-wing leaning. And when he passed away, I'll never forget this. I was in Europe with my family, and it was one of those times that was almost surreal because I wrote his obituary announcement kind of thing on a train in Europe. And by the time the train got to the station, I had sent it an email on my phone and got his wife to approve it, and it came out. And I just remember I was crying writing it, and 2 hours later, it's in the paper. He was a great guy, a funny guy, and when he passed away, even the other commentators at Fox, who were on the other side of the tracks, all said the one thing about Alan was when the lights went down, he was a guy.
He was a guy.
He was a guy.
He was a guy. Yep.
He was fair, and he would argue with you and whatever, but they all liked him. They all liked him.
That's a great story. Now let's get
The
Rory.
only thing I remember about his act is him saying, "You should get a job as a toll taker. The pay isn't that good, but you get part of your arm sunburned."
Right.
The comic
I
strip.
just thought that
Right.
was
The
just
comic strip 1980, and I do remember
so-
that.
so
I
funny,
do
so
remember that.
silly.
Now, the Conversation Company is still going strong with all kinds of stuff, so let's ask Rory about that. And I'll start you by saying Ray Romano, in some of these roles where he's playing totally different characters and older,
Yes.
for me, who knew him back when, I go, that's Ray, I can't believe it. Wow.
Well, the crazy thing is that after Raymond ended, the roles did not come rolling in because the show was such a behemoth at that point that he would want to play a drug dealer with a limp and a hair lip, and they say, "You can't, you're Raymond," you know.
Yeah.
But after a while, he hasn't done, other than a couple of guest appearances, he hasn't done comedy. Everything has basically been drama. And
he didn't have to sell that as much as he had to unsell the other.
Yeah, he didn't have to sell that, but he had done vinyl for HBO, and which I never loved the series, but I loved him in the series. Martin Scorsese directed the first episode, and he didn't know who Ray was, by the way. I tell that story, no one believes it. They didn't know who he was. He literally auditioned for vinyl. He never saw Raymond. He's a movie guy. So, but then when Scorsese was doing The Irishman with De Niro and Pacino, he wanted Ray to play their lawyer, and that's an out-of-body experience.
It is. It is
Out-of-body experience.
unbelievable.
That had to be. I thought vinyl was great. But
You did. You liked vinyl.
But
You
if
know
tried
who
to-
is
if
great
you
in
tried to
vinyl?
do anything in the music business, like
Yes.
beat your head against the
You
wall.
know who is great in vinyl, unsung and really good, was Dice Clay.
Oh, he's really
Yeah.
Dice Clay was excellent.
He's, his acting roles, he's always great.
Always great.
Starting
Starsborn, he was
starting
great.
with MASH.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, Dice does nail it. He
Yes,
really
he
does.
really does.
Now, you got all kinds of projects going on.
Yes.
So you're not slowing down.
No,
You can't.
What am I going to do?
You're a kid. You can't be very old.
I'm not. I'm 60.
Oh, you look young.
Yeah, I'm 60.
look good.
Man. And I just had a grandson a week ago.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
What's his name?
Really? Brett.
That's wonderful.
He's really cute.
He's great.
So it's nice.
Congratulations.
I'm very happy. My life is really great. I'm married 31 years to wonderful Wendy. I'm madly in love with, and my kids are great, and my son-in-law is great. I'm just a really happy guy.
You don't have a bucket list, do you, or do you?
No, I don't have a bucket list because that's a good question, actually.
As opposed to us guys who can't afford a bucket.
No, yeah, because I just tend to do things when it's presented to me. No, I never jumped out of a plane, things like that. So yeah, I guess I have a bucket list of sorts, but I'm very content guy.
Anything you wish you could have done that it just didn't work out? Something maybe that should have been greenlit that wasn't?
Yeah, there were a couple of projects, but nothing. I've been very fortunate. You know, when I was a kid, I would dream of winning an Emmy, and then I won 2 of them, and I won a Peabody with Ray for Men of a Certain Age, and you know, I'm very humble about all of it. I just can't believe it's happened to me. I'm very thankful. I don't think I'm deserving of it, but I'm very happy to have the awards. I remember when
You didn't step into anything. It was
No,
all ground
no,
up.
ground
you know.
up. When I won, I was one of many winners, but when I received the first Emmy, I remember, I swear this is the truth, I would go in the middle of the night and look at it. I couldn't believe it. It's like the first time my name was on a show as an associate producer was the Robert Klein special, and I watched it, of course, forget it. But then HBO would air it at various times, 1 in the morning, and if it would air at 1 in the morning, I would set my alarm to 1:55 and get
So
up
you
and
could
watch my
watch it
name
roll
go
by.
by.
That's great.
Yeah, because it was unbelievable to me that everything I wanted as a kid was actually happening to me, and I was still to this day, I'm so thankful. When I go to a show, or I'm nervous and my palms are sweating, and it's fun. I really have a good time. I think I've been afforded a certain life where I guess, all jokes aside, Jackie, I could slow down or retire or whatever, but it's fun for me. I like being in the middle of it all and watching it all. I'm so enamored of comedians and what they're able to do. They're doing what I can't do. So this is as close as I'm ever going to get to it. You know, I'm backstage.
You know, it's so interesting because, you love it. You're in
love
it,
it.
and
I
you
love
love
it.
Like,
I love it.
You know, people say to me, "So you're still going and doing gigs? Still
You love it.
And I say, I'm not sure if I have to. I think I have to. I'm right on that edge, but I really think if I had $1 billion, I think I would do them. And I'm not popular enough that I'm working big places. I'm working this little thing and this little thing, but that's what I do. And I think I try and ask myself, am I lying to myself or am I lying to them? But you go through all the garbage,
Well, Pete,
and then you get up there and get the laughs,
Yeah.
and it just does something.
I'm watching both of you, and you are both like sharks. If you stop swimming, you're going to die. And that's why you're not going to stop swimming.
but the difference is, look, I'm a happily married guy. I'm very much a family man. When we did Raymond, I didn't move to California. I commuted. I commuted Wednesday to Friday, 26 weeks of the year for 9 years. And my head glows in the dark now. But show business is what I do. And I love what I do. But it's not what I am. What I am is I'm Wendy's husband and Danny and Ryan's dad. I'm in show business because I love it, but I'm in show business because it also affords me the ability to do what I am, which is,
Wow.
So you clock out and go home.
I have always clocked out and gone home. In the very beginning, I worked all the time because I was building my business, of course, but then I got married and I had kids, and I really love that part of my life. That's I can't believe.
No,
that.
you're a family man. That grounds you. I assume it
very
grounds-
much a family man.
This is
But
great.
I love show business, and I think show business is amazing. But I don't go to parties, and I don't. I would rather go on a Saturday night and go to dinner with Wendy and 2 friends, as opposed to going to a party in the city.
You seem very comfortable in your own skin. And I don't know about Jackie, but right now, Rory, I would like a copay because you've really opened up here and it's been terrific. No, I mean, you seem right where you want to be.
I am, and I'm doing fun things. I mean, you asked me, I'm about to embark on a, do I have time to tell
Sure you do.
story? So, I'm really going to open up now. I bought the right, let me start again. Mickey Lee is Joey Ramone's brother. And I know Mickey my whole life, literally 40 some odd years. And he was always bugging me and saying, I want to make a movie about Joey and, you know, whatever. So I said to him, you write a book, I'll produce it. And he wrote a book, and a great book called I Slept with Joey Ramone. It sold really well, and I optioned it, and I sold it to Fox Searchlight. And then I had a stroke about 9 years ago. And it was really bad. I didn't work for 3 years, you know. And I finally had to let my wife ultimately had to let it go because, like, I couldn't even spell my name, let alone do a movie. So about a year ago, I'm in my kitchen, and the phone rings, and it's Dave Fry, who is Mickey's manager, and he handles a lot of that stuff. He says, you're not going to believe this, but we just sold the rights again to the movie, and they want you as an executive producer on the movie.
So it had a second life.
So it had a second life, and we're shooting it starting in October, and it's starring Pete Davidson playing Joey Ramone.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're making that movie with David Spiegelman and STX, and we're making it. It's just unbelievable. I can't even believe it.
That was meant to be.
Yeah, that was meant to be, and I was very sentimental about that too. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about anything. It was just about, I can't even believe that they're calling. They don't have any obligation to call me. So it was very sweet and really nice. And I just sold the show to Amazon with Tom Green, so we're working on that. Things have been great. It's really been.
I want to ask Rory a question, and I think I know what he's going to say, but how does a comedian, and indeed somebody in show business, know when to retire? Have you ever been asked that? Have you ever confronted that? And
Why did you look at me first?
I'm looking at myself, honestly.
I'm going to answer it.
I know he is. He's going to answer.
I'm going to answer it.
Yeah.
You retire when it's not fun for you anymore.
Yeah.
There are two reasons to retire. One, you don't need the money anymore, and it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
If it's fun and you're enjoying it, the audiences get smaller, whatever, but they still come and they have drinks and they have a good time and you're having fun. Why would you retire?
You know, that's right. Where people say to me,
Yes.
are you retired? And I tell people, I'm retired until the phone rings.
Of course, of
Which
course.
is the-
I understand.
which
That's
is the
perfect.
truth, you know.
Perfect. Look, here's the good thing about comedy.
When's the show start? What time can you
That's
get here?
exactly. And you're in it. You're in it. Rodney Dangerfield made Caddyshack when he was 59.
Wow.
He became a star at 59. The one good thing about comedy, unlike being an athlete or anything else, you can become a star at 70. It happens. Fivish Finkel, the great Yiddish actor, became a star when Picket Fences, right? What was the show?
I don't know the name, but
He
all of
was
a
an
sudden-
older guy. I
Yes.
mean, if you love it, then do it.
Yeah, George Burns got huge. He got way bigger than he ever did.
They interviewed George Burns once. I had the pleasure of interviewing him actually in 1980 at Arizona State, and there was someone who interviewed him, and they said, you know, you're 90 now. What you smoke 5 cigars a day? Like what does your doctor say? He said, my doctor's dead. Right? So why quit? What's the point of quitting?
Somebody asked Milton Berle, and you know, not when he was 85, but like in the late 50s or early 60s or something. Somebody said, "Are you gonna retire?" I guess after his show started bombing, they said, "Are you gonna retire?" And he said, "I can't retire. I got a dozen 8x10s left."
Right. That's exactly
Great
it.
answer.
But that's a great show business answer, because
Right.
the truth of the matter is,
You're hanging on.
the secret sauce here that you know and I know that it's fun. I hate to admit that because it seems so trite to admit that. It's fun.
It's fun, but it's, I do a lot of gigs like, I'll drive all the way to Boston or I'll drive to Philadelphia. And I'm not talking about for $10,000 for
right.
one show, like a series of shows, whatever. And you'll drive to middle of nowhere or whatever, and there's a theater and, a couple hundred people, but it's in these little vaudeville theaters and it's great. And in an old dressing room and but you still stand there and you're like, all right, I've been doing this a long time, but there's still 200 relative strangers out there. Half of them don't know me. I'm standing here, and what's going to happen out there? And you worry. But if you don't worry,
Right.
you're not in the
then
game.
then it's
and
over.
Chris
right.
Rock said it the best. Chris Rock said, in comedy, you don't get paid for doing the show. You get paid for the 20 minutes before the show.
Right.
Which is just
beautiful.
If you're not concerned, if you don't care, what's the sense of
Yeah,
going
but
out
I
there?
tell you something. The wiffle dust, the magic wiffle dust of all of it, is, ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Martling. Those words mean everything. And you walk out and you leave all your troubles behind, and you're there.
Your soreness,
I remember,
your limps, your
yeah,
headaches.
yeah. You talked about Henny Youngman before. We were at the American Comedy Awards. I had a fabulous. I was there with Ray Romano, and I sat literally. One side of me was Henny Youngman, and the other side of me was Billy Barty, the midget, the little person. The little guy. And Henny Youngman was at the tail end of his life, and he was just slumped over in the chair, and he was just sitting there, but he was performing on the show. And they went to commercial, they went to the audience, they got him, they helped him up the steps, and then it started again. Ladies and gentlemen, Henny Youngman, and he walked out there 20 years younger, did his act.
Wow.
He killed. And the lights went down again, and he, like a marionette,
what it
and he
is?
fell over.
Wow.
It's a senior citizen inflatable doll, but it's only 80% inflated. And when they say his name and he's about to
Blows
go on,
up the
all of a
other
sudden,
20. That's right.
It's
That's right. That's right.
I think it's just.
I heard a story about Rodney at Westbury Music Fair when they used to call it that, and he was doing a little rehearsing in the afternoon, and everybody there thought there's no way this guy can go on stage this evening. He can't remember his jokes. He slumped over. And then showtime approached. Somebody gave him a shot of vitamin D, and
boom.
the magic began.
Yeah.
Boom.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow. Well, you know what?
This has
been terrific. You know what Rory said, by the way,
beyond phenomenal.
about retiring? Sum it up. You'll know.
You'll know, and I don't think you really ever need to retire.
There you go.
I think when
I
you
love it.
retire, you begin to die. So the answer to your question, in my opinion, is when should you retire? When you're ready to die. Because other than that, there's no reason to retire.
If you can't physically get there,
That's different. That's how we're
not
talking
we're
about
taking all that
that.
off the
Yes,
table.
yeah, all
We're
that's off the
saying-
table.
Jackie,
right.
now we owe Rory a copay.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
That's right.
Rory, you have been terrific, and
Thanks, man.
thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
coming.
having me. I appreciate it.
Love to the family. Congrats.
Thank you,
on the
thank you.
grandchild.
You're a
Well,
grandfather,
of
young
course.
grandfather, and
Yeah, man, crazy.
wow, this has been Stand-Up Memories. What a pleasure. Jackie the Joke Man Martling, I'm Peter Bales.
Are we at the end of our season?
No, we're not at the end. We're never, no, because if we're at the end, we're going to die. No, no, we're going to keep going.
Are we mid-season?
I think we're mid-season. I think we're early in our season. Thank you, and we will definitely see you next time.
Absolutely.
Hey, a new episode of Stand-Up Memories every Wednesday.
How exciting is that?
Starring me, Peter Bales, and right here, Jackie the Joke Man Martling.
Please follow us on social media. Search it out. What is it? MeSpace?
MySpace,
Your space?
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Doodah, doodah.